Today we are going to review the PlayStation VR, which is virtual reality. Now, first of all, there's different ways that you can get this. So, the one we have is the Skyrim bundle, and it comes with everything needed. So, in order for VR to work, you have to have a headset, you have to have a VR game, and you have to have a camera. Certain games, but not all, require that you have these two little thingies. I forget exactly what they're called, but basically they're motion controllers. And you need all this for it to work. But there's like 4 different ways you can get this. So, we got it with everything. But if you paid attention to Walmart Black Friday, you would know that they were selling a whole bunch of them during Black Friday for just this. So, just a headset. No game, no camera, no nothing. Just a headset. Then they were also selling the headset with the camera and a game, but no motion controllers. So, if you got that bundle, you were good to go. You could actually play, because these aren't required. And then they also have this bundle, which we got, that has everything. This is the most expensive, of course, because it comes with everything you need. The least expensive, of course, is with just a headset. It's not a cheap thing to buy unless you got it during Black Friday sale. Normal price, this is around $450, I believe. And we got it during Black Friday, so it was $100 off. So we got it for $350 for this one. So it's really expensive. It's hundreds of dollars to get. But the question becomes, should you actually get it? So we're going to show you how it comes. So this is the big bundle. Remember that, because it does come in 2 different styles of packaging. So when you open it up, of course, the box has it's actually pretty good. It actually shows mainly about the game, but it does show you what game comes with it, some basic information, and then of course what you can get, and then of course what it comes with. Now, it doesn't really explain what's required for PlayStation VR, which I wish it did. You kind of have to know about, which I don't really like. I wish it gave you way more information, but it does give you game information if you want that. So, and the box does look all nice and colorful. Like, the box looks nice. I just wish it gave more general information about VR. Now, when you open the box, for this one, it comes in 2 different boxes. So this is its own separate box. This is its own separate box. But if you get the ones without the motion controllers, you're not going to have this box. You're going to open it, and you're just going to open it straight up to just this box. And there are 2 different versions, but more on that later. So for this version, for this bundle, it's 2 boxes. So the awesome thing about this packaging is that it has this plastic piece that goes the whole way around this big box. So to get the big box out, you literally just have to go whoop, and you're done. Like, boom, you got the box out. Like, that is like packaging in like genius right there. So they did awesome when it comes to that. And then you can just slide it off. It's just a little piece of plastic. And then you got this big old box here. So when you open this big old box, if we open it from the correct angle, boop, it just lifts up like that. And then they give you the VR manuals and stuff to tell you how to use it and how to set it up and all that jazz. That's the first thing. Then they give you another box that's inside the box, and in this box, for this version, they would have all the stuff that they show right here. So they would have the converter, the headphones, and the cables. And then under this box, no matter which version you have, they have a big old thing wrapped in this, which is the headset. So the headset would sit here, which ours is sitting over there. So there's nothing in this box. And then you put this back on, and if you have the one without the motion controllers, this is all you would have. So everything you would need would be in this box, and then they would have the headset here for you, and you'd be good to go. But we have the one with everything, so we get a separate box. And it's a lot smaller, and it's not as fancy. And in here, it just basically has the rest of the stuff. So you would have your game in here. The game goes in here. You got all this stuff. Then you got your two controllers. Those motion controllers would go in right there. And on this side, it holds the camera. So the camera would sit right here. And that's basically it for packaging. Before we go any further, I keep mentioning this bundle, specifically this version. That's because, believe it or not, there are two versions of the PlayStation VR headset. Now, this is something that they don't really advertise, like, at all. And that you have to find out the hard way. And I found out the hard way. So, there's two versions. There's version 1 and there's version 2. I originally bought version 1. Okay, you're just gonna have to go over there. And version 1 is the first one I tested. So we've tested both. And then I found out that there's a version 2. And at the time that I bought it, the only way to get version 2 was to buy this specific bundle. This was the only way you could get it. I don't know if that's changed since I bought this, because I bought this in November of 2017 during Black Friday. Well, right after Black Friday. So you had to spend $350 to get the version 2. And the way that you can identify which version you have, by the way, very important, is on the box it tells you. So the CUHZVR2, that's how you find out. Oop, if we can see it. If you have version 1, it will say VR1. So the VR version is the number you have. So VR1 is version 1. VR2 means you have the up-to-date version and you have the second one. Now, this is something I think is negative when it comes to PlayStation VR. Because you might be asking, well, I would expect you to be asking right now, what is the difference between version 1 and version 2, and which one is better? Well, good question. Version 1 and version 2, first of all, are not compatible with each other. So, you might be thinking, well, version 1's cheaper, and it is. So, I can get version 1 with just the basics that I need. So I can get version 1 with the headset and the camera and a game, and then later on I'll upgrade to version 2 when I get the money, or whenever I want to upgrade my bundle. But you'll be sadly disappointed to find out that that is not possible. And that's because of the way that they're designed. So, let's go over what version 2 has, because that's the one I can physically show you. So, version 2 comes with headphones, and they don't show it on here, but version 2 headphones are not like version 1 headphones. Neither are the cables, and neither is this. So, for version 2, we have a nice thin thing. We have headphones that they don't show it, but they connect directly to the headset. And then we have thin cables, which I can show you right now. So this is when it's hooked up. So this is version 2, and it's nice and thin. It's all part of the same thing. The cables are nice and thin, and if we look at the headset, we can see the headset has headphones that are plugged directly into it. So here's one headphone, there's the other, and they plug directly right there. The power buttons for version 2 is right there, and we have buttons right there on version 2. We also have a button up top, which we will explain what all these buttons do, but it's important to note their location, because on version 2, that's where they're located. But on version 2, we also have, if I clean up my mess here just a little bit, we have this nice thin cable. It's not thick, that brings us down to the 2 connectors. But on version 1, that's not how this is designed. So on version 1, actually, let's go to the website and let's pull up a version 1 image. Okay, so we pulled up an image on Google, lovely Google, of PlayStation VR version 1. Now, you'll notice here that we have some differences. For the first version, these are the headphones. You'll notice they are not connected to the headset, not directly. Instead, on the cable that comes from the headset, there is a little plastic piece that has buttons. The buttons are for volume, and basically all the buttons that I showed you on the bottom of the version 2 that were like over here, on version 1, they're in this little plastic piece. And your headphones plug into this little plastic piece. So that's the first major difference. The headphones are completely redesigned. The next major difference is the cord itself. So in version 1, there were 2 cords. You have the headset cord, and then you have this little adapter thing with a cord that plugs into the converters. So in version 1, we have 2 cords. Version 2, we have 1 thin cord. In version 1, this cord was also a lot thicker, and not sure why, but that's the way they did it. And then if we move on to this converter box for version 1 was basically 2 pieces. So you had this piece here, and then this piece moved. It was not connected as a single unit. You could move this plastic piece. So it was essentially 2 pieces that acted as one, and it was annoying to say the least. But other than that, for these cables back here, they essentially remain the same. And then let's see if we can get a picture of the headset. So on version 1, there's what the plastic piece looks like. So you have the volumes, you have the mute, and you have the power button. It's all on this cord. And as you can see, it's a lot thicker. You probably can't tell from the picture, but believe me, it's a lot thicker. Here's what the converter box looked like. And you can see it's like 2 pieces practically. So you might be thinking, well, they both have essentially the same connectors where it actually plugs in. You might think, well, it'll work, it'll just have a different layout. But unfortunately, it will not work. Version 2 headsets will not work with version 1 converters. Version 1 headsets will not work with version 2 converters. So you cannot mix and match. So you might be thinking, well, why would I go with version 2? Like, other than the layout, what is the difference? Like, is it actually better? What does it actually do? So the answer depends on one thing. And that one thing, believe it or not, is your TV. So, if you're like me, and you have a fancy-dancy, newer TV, not an HD TV, an Ultra HD TV, otherwise known as 4K. So you have a 4K HDR TV, and you want everything that's connected to it to also get the 4K HDR signal. Because when this is hooked up, everything is going through here and then to your TV from your PlayStation. So you want to play an HDR game, but you don't want to use virtual reality. Or you want to watch something in HDR using your PlayStation. With version 1, you can't. So version 1 was very annoying. I don't know why they did this. HDR has been out for quite a while, so with version 1, you would have to disconnect from here and plug it directly into your TV. You could not use the converter because the converter cannot pass HDR signals to your TV. It can't do it. It can't handle the signals. So if you wanted to use Ultra HD, HDR, all the fancy stuff, you had to disconnect from the converter and plug it straight into your TV. And of course, most people don't want to do that. At least I don't want to do that. So they came out with version 2, and version 2, you don't need to do that. Version 2, so this version, handles HDR just fine. HDR, 4K, whatever you want to pass through it, it handles it, and you can just leave it hooked up and pass it straight to your TV. There's no other reason to really want version 2 other than that, unless you just want the latest. But that is the only huge difference between version 1 and version 2. So, since I have a 4K HDR TV, I have version 2. Now, what's it look like in person instead of online? So, we are going to show you version 2. So, this is the headset. This is the main piece. We have a button on the back. We have our lovely, dovely headset. And then the headset when powered on, has light. So everywhere you see a clear plastic piece, that's a light. So light, 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 light. And that's how the camera up there knows exactly where you are. So we have a button up here as well. And then we have the buttons down there. If you remember, version 1 had the power button and everything on that plastic strip. Version 2 puts it right here. So we have our power button there, and then we have our volume and mute buttons right there. I don't really like the volume and buttons being there, but that's where they put it. And then it comes with headphones, so you don't need any special headphones. You don't need to use your own if you don't want to. But you can if you want to, and you would use regular headphones, just regular old headphones that you've had for years. That's what you would use. And then of course we got a long cord, and at the end we have 2 little connector ports. These ports plug into the converter up there. So we're gonna turn this on for you just so we can show you. So when you want to use it, you can put it in here. You just plug it in here, and then that's all you have to do. But now if we take this apart so we can show you, the converter box on the back has 2 HDMI ports, a USB port, and a power port. The one is for your TV, the one is for your PlayStation. The USB, you may think you don't need, but you actually need. That confused me. I don't know why they need a separate USB port, but they do, and you have to plug it into your PlayStation, into a available USB port. And then they have the power connector, and that's it. In this tiny little box. It comes with 2 of these, so those motion controllers. It comes with 2 of these, nice brand new, and it also comes with the newest version of the camera, the PlayStation camera. And of course it comes with the game. Now we're gonna turn on our PlayStation for you, get everything running so we can show you exactly what it looks like. So the first thing you'll notice is that the white light is on, but this is not. So this is showing nothing. That's because when the white light is on, it's indicating that it's in standby. It's basically pass-through mode. So you're in this mode, we're using the PlayStation as we would without VR. So when you first enter on, this is what you'll come to. It'll look like your regular PlayStation. But what you can do is launch a PlayStation VR game. So we're going to do this. So this is a VR game. This is actually one of the games on the demo disc that we've purchased, because this is like the best games that they have. This is my favorite game. So you'll launch a PlayStation game, and then some of them have regular mode and virtual reality mode. We'll go to VR mode. And then when you connect your VR headset, it'll come up and it'll walk you through how to set it up to work correctly. So the first thing it'll do is tell you to turn it on. And I'm actually surprised it knows exactly what version to show me. So for this version, our power button's there. If you got version 1, it'll be on the plastic thing. You have to turn this on yourself. It doesn't turn on automatically, which I think they should definitely implement in the future. But for now, it has a manual power button that you have to hit. So we'll turn this on. So when you turn it on, the converter tells the PlayStation that, hey, they have turned on their virtual reality headset. And then it'll bring you up to this screen. And the easiest way to know your headset is on is because it lights up blue. Well, I don't know if you can tell, but that's definitely blue. So it'll come up once it detects your headset, and it'll tell you how to set it up. So, ooh, hey, welcome to Texas. Just so you know, that's the Texas flag. And this is my living room. So the first thing it does is show you what the camera sees. So this is what my camera's seeing, and walks you through how to do it. So we'll tell it everything is good. Okay, so we are now in virtual reality mode. When you set it up for the first time, of course it's not doing it for me because I've already set it up. Usually when you play a game or when you set it up the first time, it gives you additional steps. So it tells you how to put it on. So I'm pretty sure it'll tell me once we start playing. When it's in virtual reality mode, all the lights are lit up. So it's like, yeah, you're Blue Man. And then if you look in here, can't really see it, but it'll show in here everything that you see on the screen. The first thing you have to do is ensure that this piece is extended out. So that's what this button is for. So this button moves this piece in and out. So when you go to put on the headset, this has to be extended out as far as it can be. So you push this button and you pull it forward. Then once you got this forward, which it is now, you push this button and you pull this back. So we'll use our feet just to show you. So this moves back and forth. So you'd pull this back, put your forehead here, and then put this around your head. You'll notice when you do that though that this is like way too far off and you can't see. That's because it has to be forward so that you can get this on. Then once you got this on, you can tighten this band by turning this. There's a little gear here that turns to tighten. To loosen, you just hit the button and it releases. That's also how you get the headset off. Then once it's on your head, you push this button and you push this back until you can read comfortably everything that you see on those screens. So there's two screens there for your eyes, and that's what you're looking at when you look through this. You have to be able to move this to where you can read what's on the text or on the screen, and it'll give you text. Like the screen will have text on it that says to move it until you can comfortably read the text. Then once you do that, you're done. Then everything's set up. It'll usually come up and it'll tell you to sit on the couch or on something and get within a certain position. It'll show a red outline and show you where it's detecting you, and you have to be within that outline before it will let you play the game. You can, of course, go out of the outline, and usually if it detects you've taken off the headset, it'll warn you and have you set it back up until you get back in zone. So it's not like use your hands. So I thought it'd be this magical thing where the camera would detect my hands, kind of like when you play the dancing games and it detects you, but no, it doesn't. Most games actually use a regular controller. So this one uses a controller, for example, and you would hold the controller. And then if you look at the controller while you have the headset on, it actually shows a blue outline of the controller. So you can actually see what you're holding, or at least you can see the controller. And then you would just use the controller and play. Or if you have a motion one that requires those motion controllers, you would have to hold those and play. So it's not just use your hands and control it or anything, or use your voice or anything like that. It's still using a regular style controller, just like any other game. Difference is what you see. So we'll put the headset on so you can see what it looks like. Now, as I mentioned before, you have to push this button. This moves in and out. You have to push it forward. You have to push this button and pull this forward so that you can get this onto your head. And now you might be wondering about glasses, because I have glasses. You can use this just fine with glasses. You don't take your glasses off. It actually tells you not to take the glasses off. So don't take them off. So you push this back, then you put, if you have glasses, of course, you have to put those in first. Then you put this part on your forehead. This part comes down. You can put in the headphones if you want. We're not going to. And then you push this button and you pull this back. Basically, if you have glasses, then it goes right up on your glasses. If you don't have glasses, it goes as close to your face as is comfortable. And what that does is puts these little blinders on and makes it so you can actually read what the screen is showing. And if it's not clear, it's mainly because this is pushed up, so you need to adjust this part. I've never had it be that this is too close, but it can be too far away. So you gotta make sure everything's working. When you can see the text, that's when you know it's correct. And this is what it actually looks like. You got your cord, which can get annoying, so you put that behind you, and then you pick up the controller and start playing. And then if you look, anywhere you look, you can see it looks like you're actually there. It looks really nice, actually. And then we would just play the game. To get it off, you take this, push it forward, push the release button, pull this back, and take it off. Okay, that's what the outline of the controller looks like. If you hold the controller up in front of you, you'll get the outline, so that's how you can actually see the controller you're holding. I can't really get a good thing of it. Oh, right there. There we go. So you can see it's the whole controller, which is really awesome. And of course, if you move, it displays everything. And it automatically tries to recalibrate. So if you go off, if you move, you can see it's jumping. That's because it's recalibrating where you're at. Now, what you see in here is not going to be as clear or as unclear as what everyone else sees on the TV. So you do see the same thing. So if I move this, it shows the TV on the TV exactly what the person wearing the headset uses or sees, which is awesome. So everyone else can follow along and see exactly what you see. But it will be 10 times better in this than it will be on the TV. And what you see on the TV is only what the right eye sees on the headset. So on the headset, the user is seeing two images, a left eye and a right eye. On the TV is only seeing what is shown to the right eye of the headset user. So you're only getting half of what the user sees. That's basically all I can show you without you physically wearing the headset. And that's basically all you need for the virtual reality. Dun-ta! Can users with glasses use this? Yes, they can. I use it just fine. It does not limit your glasses, at least not mine. I have these type of glasses. So if you have big honking glasses, then it might limit you. You might not be able to use them, but for glasses like this, I have no issues with it whatsoever. Can you use the converter, or the PlayStation, I should say, without the headset? The answer is yes. So you don't need the headset plugged in. We don't have it plugged in. You just need the converter plugged in. The converter has to stay plugged in. The headset does not. So we can disconnect that and use the PlayStation without the VR headset just fine. Does VR games require the headset? No, they don't. So if we go back, I can actually show you most games, at least all the ones I've seen, when it comes to VR, they have two options. It's not just VR games. So we have VR mode, which we are currently in. So if we exit VR mode, you can play without VR. So the game is still playable. And that's how every game I've seen is. So you can still play, although I'm sure there's some out there that are going to require you to have it. But most games, no. You can play the game without having VR, although it's definitely better if you have VR. Do we need to buy a bundle with all this stuff? So, if you're like me, and as you can see, we have the old style camera. So we already had a PlayStation camera, which the virtual headset bundles come with. They come with the new one, but we already have an old one. Same thing with those motion controllers. If we already have one, do we need to buy a new one? Do we have to use updated ones? Are they special? Are they like the headset where they're not compatible unless you have those ones? All those are no. You don't need them. So first of all, you don't technically need the motion controllers to play virtual reality games. That's an important thing to know. Second of all, if you already have motion controllers and you already have a camera, then you're good to go. You do not need to buy a new one. So I can use that old camera, which we currently are using, and it's working just fine. You don't need to buy a new camera. You don't need the new style. If you have an old one, it works just fine. If you have motion controllers from PlayStation 3 days, those good old days, yeah. You don't need to buy new ones. They are the exact same thing. And it will work just fine with the virtual reality. So if you already have them, don't buy them unless you're like me and you have an HDR TV and can only find the bundle. Then buy it. Or if you don't have them, then buy them. But if you want to save money, you can go to GameStop, which is what I would actually recommend, or Yard Sale, or anywhere that sells the motion controllers for like $2-3. GameStop, I know, did the last time I checked. You can do that instead of spending like hundreds of dollars on a bundle. Then you can just get the headset and the game, and you're good to go. Can you use this headset and see as like a normal, just to use it with the normal PlayStation without VR? So we don't want to play a VR game. We just want to use regular PlayStation. We want to watch a movie. We just want to use PlayStation without a VR game. Can we do it? The answer is yes. You can do it. So, when the VR headset is on, it will show you whatever's on the screen. That includes if you're not in a VR game. You don't have to be in a VR game for it to show what's on the screen on the headset. You won't get the virtual reality, of course, because you're not in a virtual game. But you will get a movie theater style experience. So when you put the headset on and you're in regular mode, it will basically show this big screen, like a movie theater screen. Like when you go to a movie theater and you sit and you're looking at that screen, how you can see the screen, that is what you will see in the headset. And if you look this way, it'll be black. You look that way, black. Up, black. Everything is black except for there's a screen in front of you that will show exactly what's on here. So you can use the headset. I wouldn't recommend it, but you can use it to, say, watch a movie or play a non-VR game. it will work. You can do it. It'll just not be in virtual reality. Is version 2 better than version 1? You're looking for HDR and stuff like that, version 2 is your go-to. It's better than version 1 just because it can handle all that. If you got an HD TV and you don't have 4K or HDR and you don't care about that stuff, version 1 is, I think, for me personally, is better. Version 2, so as I mentioned, I have used both. So version 1, the sides come out a little more and make it so that you're completely immersed. You're surrounded in blackness except for what you see on the screen. But with this version 2, every time I play, I can see out the sides, which makes it so I'm not completely immersed. I've tried moving the screen closer, but I can't get it closer. So it just feels like the plastic pieces here, the little rubber pieces, plastic and rubber actually, that make it so that you don't see outside, are smaller on version 2 than they are on 1. So version 2 is not as good as version 1 when it comes to being completely immersed. I also don't like the button placement here. You might like it. I don't. I much rather would have had it still on a little plastic piece here, because if you have to adjust the volume, you're moving the headset. So if you go to look for the power button or the volume button, you have to like feel around this headset, moving it the whole time, which moves what you see on the screen. And if you fumble with it, it moves the sides, of course. So you're like seeing out the bottom. It just takes away from the experience. So if you do use version 2, I highly recommend you set the volume to what you want it to be before you start, and then don't touch it. So I much rather would have had the buttons on a little cable like they did before, with the plastic piece, so that if you wanted to adjust something, all you had to do is grab the cable and hit the button without messing with the headset at all. But other than that, they both are actually the same. So they both perform the same from what I've seen. So the main thing becomes, is this worth it? Is it as good as they want you to believe it is? Does this thing make you feel like you are actually in whatever world the game says you're in? And the answer is yes. It is totally worth it. Like, oh my gosh, yes. So it's one of those things where you have to try it on in order to believe it, because someone telling you it's good isn't going to do it justice. So it is amazing. It is well worth the price, at least the discounted price, if you can find it still at the discounted price. It does actually, well, depending on what game you play, because some games don't do a good job of making you feel like you're there, but most games, like, it feels like you're actually there. As long as you don't see out the bottom, this is positioned on your face well enough to where all you see is a screen, and that's it. The games I played have done really good at making it believable. And you can look down, you can look up, you can look everywhere, and it feels like you're actually there. So yes, 100% yes, it is worth it. It's definitely believable. All my friends that have tried it when I bought it all say the same thing. They all want one. It's actually quite amazing. So if you have a chance to experience, I would definitely go try it out. But as far as for this review, 100% worth it, even at its steep price. So all in all, I would give it a B minus.